This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Out on the floor, just a little bit of dancing. Look to my side, and I see you with your friends, yeah. I caught you looking back, yeah, you noticed that I glanced in. Now you're laughing in your hand like you're embarrassed, but you know that you're bad, and you're bad, and you know I can see the way you roll, yeah. Ain't no competition, baby. This ain't an act, it's a show, yeah. And you're perfect for me, baby. Girl, that's a promise I can make. You should trust me when I say it will brighten every day if you let me. You know.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, it definitely does not matter who the host is. What always has mattered is who the listeners are. Let's not be mistaken by that. Anyways, today is Thursday, November the 21st of 2024, day 326th of the year, and only 40 days left before we get to the end of the shit show known as 2024. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big. Radio Big.
Yeah, you know, Radio Big is where we get to hang out with those people. We get to hang out with the people at Safety FM. So some good time. So hopefully the last 24 hours has been good for you. So have you been thinking about this? Been in 1 week's time frame? More than likely you will not be working. You will probably be off because it is Thanksgiving here in the U.S. And are you prepping for all that stuff? Yeah, my wife was getting everything ready yesterday for us. And man, what a cluster. But hey, it's a fun time getting to hang out with peeps. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about what we do around here. It's our show that consists of safety in the news and safety. It's kind of how it goes. It is the way of the world of what we talk about, no doubt there. So what we do here is that if you want to interact with what we have going on, all you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Once you get there, video, audio, and text messaging are the options. The way you can listen to us is we have several different platforms that we go on. SafetyFM.com, RadioBig.fm, and there's some apps related to that as well. So it's radio station, then we can go into a podcast network or catcher, but there are some podcast catchers that are broadcasting us live as we're doing it, so keep that in mind too. Then you have the video option. Now, if you go to our website, safetyfm.com, you can click on visual radio, and that will actually show everything up right there. So that's an option there. But then we're also on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, Live 365, the Alexa streaming services, and all that other stuff. I mean, so there's some places to catch us if you want to do so. Like I told you about call-in radio, that's always an option to interact with us because some people like to put on social media. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you straight. I look at the social media aspect just not in real time because I can't read all the stuff I got going on my screens and look at social media at the same time and be like, oh, yeah,
duh,
that is going on in real time as we are doing stuff. So don't take it personal. Some people do. They get offended. I've texted you and sent communication several times and you didn't read it on the air. I read it, just not during. So there you go. In some of the notes that come through, change kind of the perspective of what we're doing. So keep that in mind as well. Anyways, let's start talking right away about what the hell's trending.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, crooks in Michigan make off with an unconventional haul. We'll talk about that. And surpassing ballot measure fails. So there you go. Also, 5 more lawsuits against City until Washington opens up about his past love of wine. Also, Colin Hoover's other best-selling books is getting a film adaptation with a big star already attached. And Queen Camilla earns a special award. We'll talk about that in the details of the Royals. So with that being said, I have some people waiting over here from Feature Story News that want to give you a feature or maybe a story or maybe both combined, and they can give you both things. That way you can kind of take a gather of what's going on. So if you're ready, I'm ready. I'll get the people over here from Feature Story News giving you the world of info because I think we need that right now. So let's go ahead and go into it.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Dozens of people have been killed in fresh Israeli airstrikes in northern Gaza, according to hospital officials. Hamas-aligned media says Israel hit several buildings in Beit Lahia and Gaza City. Israel's recently intensified operations in northern Gaza, saying it wants to stop Hamas regrouping there. At least 20 people have been arrested in raids across Europe targeting an alleged Syrian people smuggling gang. Law enforcement agencies in Austria, the Netherlands, Poland, Bosnia and Herzegovina and Serbia joined the UK's National Crime Agency and German police in taking action. It's thought the network brought hundreds of migrants through the Balkans and then into Eastern Europe before they were taken to Germany and the UK. The NCA's Director of Investigations, John Denley, says an Iraqi national was detained in the UK's Midlands area.
The network operates in over 20 countries and is responsible for smuggling over 750 people into Germany and the United Kingdom. The arrest was undertaken with colleagues from Poland, and the subject will now face extradition.
The United States has charged Indian billionaire Gautam Adani with orchestrating a $250 million bribery scheme. He's one of the world's richest men and is known for his close ties to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Rebecca Bunden reports from Mumbai.
US authorities say that Adani and other executives promised more than $250 million in bribes to Indian government officials to secure solar energy contracts. Federal prosecutors accused them of hiding and using the scheme to raise money from investors in the US. The Adani Group has interests in sectors including ports, airports and energy. The group last year faced a crisis after a US short seller accused it of stock manipulation and accounting fraud, accusations which Adani denied. Rebecca Bunden, Mumbai.
The US state of Texas is offering Donald Trump land for use for deportation facilities as the president-elect promises to fix the country's border crisis. The state's land commissioner, Dawn Buckingham, says the ranch on the US-Mexico border can be used for the largest deportation of violent criminals in the nation's history. Sally Patterson reports.
Donald Trump ran for president on a platform of tackling illegal immigration. Now he's working on turning those promises into action. Firstly, by using the US military to help with his proposed mass deportations. Now, Texas authorities say facilities can be built on their land to process, detain and deport undocumented migrants. There are around 11.4 million immigrants living in the country illegally, according to the Migration Policy Institute. Many now face an uncertain future as the next president prepares for his second term in office.
FSN's Sally Patterson reporting there. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Conservationists say they believe that a species of bird previously found across mainland Europe and the Mediterranean is now extinct. The last confirmed sighting of a slender-billed curlew was nearly 30 years ago, and researchers say new analysis has concluded that with a 99.6% degree of certainty, none of the birds any longer exists.
It's the first global extinction of a species that occurred in mainland Europe ever, and it's a reflection of the threats facing biodiversity more broadly globally.
Alex Berryman of BirdLife International is a co-author of the study.
The last sighting was in northern Morocco, February 95. There's been a few claims since, but none of them have been verified. The threats that probably drove the extinction are quite difficult to pinpoint and will probably never be fully understood. But it's most likely that the extensive drainage and the destruction of bogs in western Siberia where they bred and their conversion to agricultural use, compounded with loss of coastal wetlands on the migratory and wintering grounds, and possibly also some impact of hunting, particularly towards the end.
The slender-billed curlew was a wading bird. Researchers say thousands of square miles of territory where the species was routinely found have turned up no evidence that the curlew still exists. And ornithologists fear it will not be the last species to disappear in Europe. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, dozens of people have been killed in fresh Israeli airstrikes in northern Gaza, according to hospital officials. At least 20 people have been arrested in raids across Europe targeting an alleged Syrian people smuggling gang. The US has charged Indian billionaire Gautam Adani with orchestrating a $250 million bribery scheme, and the US state of Texas is offering Donald Trump land to use for deportation facilities. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN. If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. when you apply for $3 million in coverage or less. Just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' best life insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home, and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, there you go. Rated R Safety Show, 17 minutes past the top of the hours. We are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. Yep. Some Thursday action coming your way, that is for sure, as we are doing our thing. So let's start talking about the shit list real quick, because those who are tasked with lugging along part of the Thanksgiving meal through the airport next week, TSA has some guidelines for what you can and cannot be carried on to the plane. So if you're ready, here you go. If you can spill it, spray it, spread it, pump it, or pour it, it is a liquid. Aerosols or gel, it must be packed in your checked bag if it exceeds 3.4 ounce limit. This is according to their press release. Also, heartier dishes such as turkey pie, stuffing, casseroles, baked goods, and fresh produce can all be placed in carry-on luggages. Around 2.9 million people are expected to take to the skies the day before Thanksgiving. The same amount will fly home on Sunday after Thanksgiving. This is according to TSA.gov. So what are your plans? Will you be flying on before Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving, or even for Thanksgiving? I'm just asking, because here's the thing. If you kind of play your cards right, you can probably get a decent trip depending on where you want to go. But then also, it is a total cluster getting back, especially if you're trying to do it on a Sunday, Monday scenario. I'm just saying. So what are you going to do? I mean, if it was up to me, I would go to Mexico. But apparently a lot of things, when it's up to me, I would go to Mexico.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. Here is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I'm just saying, it's just the truth, so there you go. Okay, so here we go. Another former executive of defunct crypto exchange FTX will avoid prison time. Judge Lewis Kaplan sentenced the company co-founder Gary Wang to 3 years of supervised release and time served on Wednesday. His attorneys noted that Wang has since gotten a job having nothing to do with cryptocurrencies and has actively aided prosecutors in finding other financial fraud. Prosecutors also took it easy and nothing to the court that Wang was the first FTX employee to come to them and cooperate from the start, showing prosecutors their internal mechanism that Sam Bankman-Fried used to facilitate all the crimes. So what do you think? Did the person do the right thing? Do the right thing. I don't know. A lot of people have questions about stuff like this. They always do and always will. So that was coming from Inner City Press, just in case if you wondered where the sourcing of the info came from, because people always want to know that stuff. So there you go. Okay, and some other news. New York's Fifth Avenue has long been the most expensive place to open a store. When measured, the rent prices is a per square foot, clocking in just around, are you ready for this? $2,000. Yeah, $2,000. So Via Monte Napoleon in Milan, Italy, has taken the crown of the richest retail shopping lane in the world, where an 11% increase in rents year over year costs around $2,047 per square foot. The real estate analyst firm Crushman and Wakefield attribute the rise in simple supply and demand. Rounding out the top 5 most expensive shopping spots is New Bond Street in London, a place in Hong Kong, and Champs Elysees in Paris. So there you go. Yep. I would have never known this without having a list, because that's just not my forte. I mean, no, seriously, just not my forte. It just makes no sense to me on why you would want to pay some crazy amount of money for things that don't mean anything. So there you go. Okay, police in Dearborn, Michigan are looking for crooks who robbed a pharmacy and made off with thousands of dollars of, you ready for this? Weight loss drugs. Security camera footage showed that at least 4 crooks involved in the heist. They specifically took about $15,000 worth of appetite suppressant Ozempic. Not super bright. A quick review of the security footage also showed that the robbers wearing a GPS tracking device. Figuring out who it was took a little more effort than identifying which devices were all at the location at the same time breaking in. The suspect has not been named, but police suggest that they have leads on who else was involved with this. This is according to WXYZ. Okay, so let me make sure that I understand this. You decided that it was a good idea to go rob a store, a pharmacy, and you wore tracking devices as you were doing it. And then you were wondering how this is going to get you caught. Interesting. Very interesting.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, for the first time in nearly 30 years, a public ballot measure to increase the minimum wage has failed in California, of all places. Proposition 32 would have raised the state's minimum wage of $18 or to $18 per hour by 2026. It's already $16 an hour, more than twice the federal minimum, and fast food workers earn about $20 an hour. Amid all of that, healthcare workers would soon see a wage of $25 an hour in the coming months. Still, Proposition 32 failed by a narrow margin of 51 to 49. In 1996, voters of the 2 states rejected minimum wage hikes, Missouri to $6.75 and Montana to $6.25. The last time such measures failed in the United States. Worth noting, the vote is for final now because California takes literally forever to count ballots. Maybe that's not such a true point, but you get what I'm saying here. So there you go. So you had the opportunity in California to go to $18 per hour in 2026. It did not pass. Narrow margin 51-49 when it's all said and done. I don't know. I look at minimum wage in a weird way. You know, it's a minimum wage. It is a wage, but you should still be able to live to some extent in regards of that. And I don't know, depending on where you're located, this will play a huge factor, of course. Sometime federal minimum wage is not even close to getting you to live in where the hell you're located. Like, think about this for a moment. And because it came up, we'll talk about it. Let's say somewhere where like California, you're probably not going to live off of minimum wage there. And I'll use this. I mean, New York would be another place. I look at Orlando, and I know some people will be like, why are you talking about there? Well, I live here. And I don't think you could live in an apartment making minimum wage if you didn't have a shitload of roommates. I mean, I'm just saying. You're not doing it as a single person, but I guess let me get off my soapbox.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, I'm sure I'm trying to be something, that's for sure. Who knows what that is? So there you go. There you go, there you go, there you go. Okay, so take a listen to this. Let's go through some things here. Let's talk about the Dow. It gained about 139 points to close at 43,408 on Wednesday. The S&P fell flat to close at 5,917, and the NASDAQ lost about 21 points to close at 18,966. West Texas Intermediate closed at $68 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $73 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas, are you ready for this? Was $3.06 on Wednesday. Bitcoin hit an all-time high again with $94,300. So imagine how many people are excited about that. And also Friday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $453 million jackpot, or a $209.6 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. Okay, let's talk about this. I'm just going to reference this. We'll probably talk a little bit more about this in hour 2 and 3 if you go over to radiobig.fm. But the 58th Annual Country Music Association Awards aired last night live from Nashville's Bridgestone Arena. On-hand hosts Luke Bryan, Peyton Manning, and Lainey Wilson. We have a whole list of the winners, if you care about that. But I think that should be a little bit better suited to what we have going on the other station. So we'll talk about that over there if you are so ready to do so. So there you go. What else do we have? Let's take a look. Sean Combs faces new allegations from 5 additional alleged victims, 1 man and 4 women who claimed that he drugged and sexually assaulted them. All of the suits have been filed by Houston-based attorney Tony Busby, who is representing more than 120 alleged victims. Meanwhile, an offer has been made on Combs' Los Angeles mansion. Bo Belmont of Bellwood Investments put in an offer of $30 million for the place, a fraction of the $62 million asking price. By the way, that's the same guy who scooped up Yee's gutted Malibu home for $21 million. So what do you think? I mean, it's going to get interesting more and more because, I mean, I don't know. It seems like every time we turn, there's something new that's been brought up in regards to what's happening here. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know. I mean, that would be me saying, I'm just saying. You see how that works? So there you go. Okay, and some other news. Denzel Washington says that for 15 years, he would drink wine for months on end, sober up for a while shooting a film, and then go back to popping bottles. The Panther did a lot of damage to his body, he told Esquire, while revealing that he has now been sober for 10 years and hasn't had a thimble worth since then. So there you go. Pretty interesting, I mean, I would say. 15 years. And then, saying, hey, I'm just going to be sober as I make a movie. It almost reminds me quite a bit of that Flight movie that he did, if you think about it. The one where he's the pilot. I'm just saying. I don't know. Something to think about. Anyways, think about this one real quick. The asking price for the home that the late Gene Wilder was just slashed by $3.5 million, dropping in price to $9.5 million. The former owner, Elon Musk's requirement that the future buyer preserve the property, meaning that no tearing the place down, is still in place, however. The place was purchased by Musk in 2013 and then went to Wilder's nephew in 2020. Musk lent the nephew $6.7 million to purchase the home, but it went into default after he and his wife fell behind on the loan payments. Wilders purchased the place in 1976 for around $300,000. This is according to TMZ. So there you go. Take a listen to this one real quick, okay? You ready? Tori Spelling is done roughing it. The actress recently traded her RV for a $12,000 a month mansion in Calabasas. It was rumored that at the time Spelling was suffering financially and was forced to downsize, but her ex-husband, Dean McDermott, felt that she did it in a way to garner sympathy. To move to an RV, I mean, I think you're doing more than just trying to garner sympathy, if that's what you're doing. I mean, I'm just saying, throw that out there. Okay, Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi are making good on their promise to leave the U.S. if Donald Trump was reelected. The pair have reportedly settled on a place in Cotswolds. Oh, that's south of West England, about 2 hours from London. As for their California real estate, insiders told TMZ the plans is to list the Montecito mansion soon. I don't know. I mean, it's a weird thing. Okay, so listen. Regardless of who won the election, you know that some people are going to come out of the woodwork and be like, hey, if this person wins, I'm leaving. If that person wins, I'm leaving. Okay, so yeah, people are doing their make good. Is that good? I don't know. Is that bad? I don't know. Should people be touting that they're leaving? I don't know. Because, listen, you're still in one of the greatest countries of the whole world, regardless of what the hell is going on. Some people will argue that it's the greatest country in the world. So, do you want to leave it? It's up to you. I mean, listen, have you left a job because a manager came in and you didn't like? I don't know. This is why I'm asking these questions. So you have to make those determinations on what is going on. That is for sure. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's go ahead and go into some of the stuff that we call our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's hang out and talk and do some things. And just imagine some of the stuff that you've seen in the past and how it would apply to some of the things that are going on now. Now, I want you to think about this when it's all said and done. But you know that there are movies that impact people's lives. There are songs that impact people's lives. There are things that occur inside of this world that we sit around and go, this might be the neatest thing that I've seen, or this might be the dumbest thing I've seen. So let's talk about some of that. So today, I wanted to give you some of those options, the red and the blue pill. So if I was to welcome you to our main story where we are going to explore safety through the lens that you might not expect, and I told you, let's talk about it from the aspect of something that has influenced a good chunk of people, something like The Matrix. If you've seen the movie before, you'll recall the iconic moment where Neo is presented with the choice. You know, the choice. The red pill or the blue pill. And if you're not super familiar with the movie, let me kind of just give you a breakdown. The red pill represents a path of truth in reality, no matter how difficult. The blue pill, offers some of that comfort and ignorance, allowing you to remain blissfully unaware of how harsh the truths around you are. That's kind of the overall concept once he gets to that point in the movie. But here's the kicker. This decision closely mirrors the choices that we make every day when it comes to our safety in our organizations. And I want you to sit back for a moment and take a listen to some of this. Because some people might agree and some people might not agree in regard to what I'm going to say, because that's just kind of how it goes overall all the time. But think about this. Let me give you the blue pill of safety. And no, we're not talking about the Viagra stuff. We're talking about something else. So taking the blue pill is the path of least resistance in safety. And if you had to give a breakdown on what exactly it would look like, it would be something along these lines. Relying on outdated process and tools because that's how we've always done it. Now, you've been in an organization and you've heard somebody use that before. The other aspect to think about would be ignoring near misses or minor incidents because they didn't result in serious harm at this time. Think about that for a moment. These are not things that you have not heard before. Also focusing on compliance over actual improvement. We've checked all the boxes, so we must be safe, right? I mean, isn't that how some of these people look at some of these things? When you're looking at everything based on doing some versionality of an audit, some versionality of paperwork. And then the last but not least, accepting a false sense of security because everything looks fine on the surface, so it must be fine. So the blue bill feels safe, it's easier, it doesn't require questioning the status quo or addressing uncomfortable truths about culture, risk, systems in place. Now let's look at the other side of the equation. Let's look at that red pill of safety. The red pill represents stepping into the world of awareness and reality. This is about confronting the truths that may not always be easy to accept. So let's give us a quick breakdown here. What if you went around identifying systemic gaps in your process that put workers at risk? What about asking those rough questions? Are we just lucky or are we just truly safe? What about shifting the focus from lagging indicators like injury rates or leading indicators like workers' engagement and reporting? What about recognizing the safety isn't just a list of rules, but a cultured shared responsibility inside of the organization? So taking the red pill means acknowledging that safety is complex and that there's no singular solution. It's about embracing the challenge of continual improvement and empowering workers to play an active role in shaping a safer workplace. You know, that employee engagement thing, that team member engagement thing in regards of what needs to be done. So in choosing the red pill, so what happens when you choose the red pill in safety? Well, you begin to seeing the bigger picture. Safety becomes part of the culture, not just a department of a program. You recognize incidents that are not about individual failures, but systemic failures. Workers feel empowered to recognize hazard and near misses without fear of punishment. And you're just not compliant. You're resilient. You're doing things that are different. So, just like in The Matrix with Neo, the red pill doesn't promise an easy path, but choosing to address the deeper truths about safety, meaning facing complexities, challenges, and resistance, but also the path that leads to transformation and ultimately a safer, more engaged workplace, maybe a place that has some safeguards. So ask yourself, are you ready to take the red pill? Or will you stay comfortable with the blue pill, pretending everything is fine while hazards lurk in the shadows? So as in the movie, as Morpheus would say, all that I am offering you is the truth, nothing more. The truth might be uncomfortable, but it's the only way that you and your organization will actually end up growing.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to a mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Always replicated, but never duplicated. Rated R Safety Show.
Package change your life, baby. Let me in life, baby. Oh, I could treat you right, baby. Let me in life, baby. I could change your life, baby. Let me in life, baby. Oh, I could treat you right, baby.
Okay, here you go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour. And we are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. Okay, this song right here is called Let Me by Chromatic. Song's readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music. We would like to thank Chromatic for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, I would say give it some streamer-emer action, no doubt there. Okay. So let's go. Let's get into the move and the groove of some things going on. Gonna do something here. Take a listen to this. Frankly, it can be depressing at this time of the year when it comes if you're spending all of your hours in daylight at work. And while many of us are quick to chalk up the feeling to lethargy and carb craving to seasonal affective disorder or SAD, mental experts are saying that not so fast. For starters, Carrie Labrotsky, a winter psychologist mindset expert, wants us to remember that people that are sad isn't something you can just self-diagnose. Use as a shield to avoid living normal life for the next 3 to 4 or maybe even 5 months. According to her, people who fall into the two categories, though, who generally feel down in the winter with worse mood in response to the lack of daylight, and those who simply having a very normal, healthy response to daylight change. But don't view it that way. She points out that the feelings of tired and antisocial are at least less than the social might be during the summer, and a very normal response to the 10-hour difference in the amount of daylight between the summer solstice and the winter solstice. She says that it's normal to expect the same energy, interest, and productivity year-round. Her advice in dealing with the effects of daylight in the time of the year: slow down, rest more, socialize in a low-key way, and be indulgent in staying in, and eat lots of comfort food. And me, count down to December the 22nd, the days that start getting longer. Sure, start the winter, but the daylight means that it's also the first signs of spring. So, hey, yeah, there is some hope there. And let me tell you about the most important thing as well that I will ever tell you after that story, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And the people at To Write Love on Your Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now, and healing is possible. So even if you're dealing with SAD, with the thing that you're missing daylight, there's some options there. And once you get here, there's some information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. To find out more information, go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. So, some options readily available for you. So, there you go. TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. So, a lot of information, a lot of things to do, a lot of things to take a look at if one may do so. So there you go. Some stuff for you as we are talking. So TWLOHA.com. Okay, let's continue talking about some other things, because that is what we do around here. So what did you think? I mean, did you think that SAD was going to play a big factor as I was bringing it up, or did you look at it and go, I don't know if I go through that? I mean, there's a lot of people that are still hating this. And listen, I'm not a lover of the time change thing. I'm just keeping it real when it comes to that. But it's a weird thing. Like, if you look up all of the information on why it was done, it's silly that we still do a time change. And if you have the option to be stuck into one or the other, which one would you do? Would you be in daylight savings time? Or would you be in daylight standard time? Because that's the thing. And what if we just had the world in one separate time zone? You know, what if it was just one time zone around? You know, what does it matter anyways? Time is time, yeah. You know what I'm saying. Anyways, let's bring somebody in who has more sense than I do. Let's bring in some John Smalls and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's thought was submitted by Tom. We often start with a quote, but today it's more of a thought titled, "What is marketing?" If the circus is coming to town and you put up a poster, that's advertising. If you put the poster on the back of an elephant and walk him through town, that's a promotion. If you walk the elephant through the mayor's flower bed and the local radio station airs a story about it, that's publicity. If you can get the mayor to laugh about it, that's public relations. If you tell people about the various entertainment booths and the fun that they're going to have, and you answer all their questions, that's sales. And if you plan that entire thing, that's marketing. All right, I love that. As a guy who works in marketing, I agree wholeheartedly with this thought.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Faced with the seemingly insurmountable challenges of our day, you may be tempted to give up. You may be thinking there's nothing you can do. You're too young, or you're too old, or you don't have any money, or you don't have any power or influence. Which brings us to the 4 most unlikely miracle workers in the Bible. 4 men with leprosy sitting at the entrance of the city gate. They said to each other, "Why stay here until we die?" They had nothing. Nothing, that is, except an indomitable spirit, an unwillingness to do nothing, an unwillingness to just sit there and die. Lord Jesus, give us the courage to risk failure and rejection rather than doing nothing. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Dozens of people have been killed in fresh Israeli airstrikes in northern Gaza, according to hospital officials. Hamas-aligned media says Israel hit several buildings in Beit Lahir and Gaza City. Israel's recently intensified operations in northern Gaza, saying it wants to stop Hamas regrouping there. At least 20 people have been arrested in raids across Europe targeting an alleged Syrian people smuggling gang. Law enforcement agencies in Austria, the Netherlands, Poland, Bosnia and Herzegovina and Serbia joined the UK's National Crime Agency and German police in taking action. It's thought the network brought hundreds of migrants through the Balkans and then into Eastern Europe before they were taken to Germany and the UK. The NCA's Director of Investigations, John Denley, says an Iraqi national was detained in the UK's Midlands area.
The network operates in over 20 countries and is responsible for smuggling over 750 people into Germany and the United Kingdom. The arrest was undertaken with colleagues from Poland, and the subject will now face extradition.
The United States has charged Indian billionaire Gautam Adani with orchestrating a $250 million bribery scheme. He's one of the world's richest men and is known for his close ties to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Rebecca Bunden reports from Mumbai.
US authorities say that Adani and other executives promised more than $250 million in bribes to Indian government officials to secure solar energy contracts. Federal prosecutors accused them of hiding and using the scheme to raise money from investors in the US. The Adani Group has interests in sectors including ports, airports and energy. The group last year faced a crisis after a US short seller accused it of stock manipulation and accounting fraud, accusations which Adani denied. Rebecca Bunden, Mumbai.
The U.S. state of Texas is offering Donald Trump land for use for deportation facilities as the president-elect promises to fix the country's border crisis. The state's land commissioner, Dawn Buckingham, says the ranch on the U.S.-Mexico border can be used for the largest deportation of violent criminals in the nation's history. Sally Patterson reports.
Donald Trump ran for president on a platform of tackling illegal immigration. Now he's working on turning those promises into action. Firstly, by using the US military to help with his proposed mass deportations. Now, Texas authorities say facilities can be built on their land to process, detain and deport undocumented migrants. There are around 11.4 million immigrants living in the country illegally, according to the Migration Policy Institute. Many now face an uncertain future as the next president prepares for his second term in office.
FSN's Sally Patterson reporting there. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
In order to save the planet from cow farts, why doesn't someone just invent really large gas X pills?
John, what's that awful stench? Radio.
Oh, yeah, it's stingy, all right. I believe you. Anyways, 55 minutes past the top of the hour, and let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2019, Elon Musk unveils Tesla's all-electric pickup, the Cybertruck, at an event in Los Angeles while showing off much of the beating of the vehicle could take. Tesla's let's see, what is it? Chief designer Frank Vaughn took a sledgehammer to the body. He also hit the shatterproof window with a metal ball, and to the surprise of Musk, it shattered the window. Earlier, Musk had claimed that the truck was bulletproof against a 9mm handgun, so who knows, you know? And keep in mind about that. So that happened back in 2019. Think about how long it took to get that thing on the market. And how the price, what was it, almost double of whatever what was it? Like it was $40,000 for the entry, but it ended up being $60,000. But when they started selling them, they were like $120,000. Anyways, so that happened back in 2019. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, Isabel May turns 24, Grace Van Patten turns 28, Justin Tucker 35, Carly Rae Jepsen turns 39, Jenna Malone 40, Nikki Garcia and Brie Garcia was what I would imagine. They both turned 41. Johnny Danny turns 50, Michael Strahan turns 53, Ken Griffey Jr. turns 55, Troy Aikman turns 58, Bjork turns 59, and Goldie Hawn turns 79 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays for you, if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have a crap load of them for you. It's Guinness World Record Day, National Gingerbread Cookie Day, World Hello Day, World Television Day, Great American Smokeout, Social Enterprise Day, False Confession Day, National Stuffing Day, World Pancreatic Cancer Day, World Philosophy Day, Useless Stuff Day, National Red Mitten Day. So a lot of things going on, short period of time. If you need a random joke for today, according to my chocolate advent calendar, there is only 3 days until Christmas. You get it? Okay. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's the most frightening thing you can imagine? Uh-huh. Yeah, think about that. And then if you need a question for the water cooler, try this. 19% of moms say that they'll do this sometimes to teach their family a lesson. What is it? Hide clothes. I don't know what lesson you're teaching, but hey, that just means like it sounds like you're spending more money, but that's just my thought process on the whole thing. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If not, you can hang out here on Safety FM with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting, because that is what he does. So there you go. Some options readily available to you, whatever you want to do. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it makes no sense to do what we do around here. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Life is the art of drawing without an eraser. Think about that. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Look to my side, and I see you with your friends, yeah. I caught you looking back. Yeah, you noticed that I glanced in. Now you're laughing in your hand like you're embarrassed, but you know that you're bad. And you're bad, and you know I can see the way you roll, yeah. Ain't no competition, baby. This ain't an act, it's a show.